Hello. Hi, everyone. Okay, let's get started. So, good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to this month's Blue Bindi session. We're meeting on a very special evening, day two of Navratri. I'm sure you all are celebrating. This festival, in many ways, is about celebrating strength, new beginnings, and the power of discipline. And when you think about it, these are the qualities I think are the foundation of wise investing. Here's something, every in our every session we talk about something encouraging, some fun, some relevant stats that we share. So today, what I wanted to talk about is that one in every three Indian women actively invest. Okay, though you might say one in three, but the studies show that when women invest, they often outperform men because they are natural, because they are very patient and they're disciplined, and that's what they bring on table, right? So, which means we all should not overcomplicate investing. We already have the right instincts, so we should just go with the flow. So, so with the spirit of Navratri, and as we will be talking about nine simple thumb rules as our topic is because it's 9 days of Navratri. So we thought, okay, let's bring those nine simple rules that every woman should know before investing. And I'm telling you, a lot of y'all would be in some or the other way, following these rules. But in our today's session, we'll get our expert to explain those in detail and make sure that in our day-to-day, conversation in our day-to-day life, we actually implement them. Okay, so these are not very difficult rules or anything. These are very simple mantras that knowingly or unknowingly, as I mentioned earlier, we might be following, but today we'll understand, we'll go a little deeper and make sure that we make the most of these rules. Okay, so before we get into the session with our expert, I would like to invite Moin. Though I am logged in today with his laptop, you might be seeing his name on my screen. But yes, Moin, over to you. Let's get the session started. Let's get all on the same page.
Thank you, Ritika. Hi, everyone. A very good evening and happy Navratri to you all. I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Great. So, like always, before we begin the expert session, I'm here to throw some very difficult questions to you. So we've actually raised our bar. Okay. So we were talking to our expert Sailesh, and he said now a lot of our people in the community, Blue Bindi community, have a lot of knowledge. अब उनका bar next level चला गया है. तो questions भी तुम्हारे tough हो सकते हैं. So keeping that brief in mind, we've
Yeah.
created some questions. We've put together some questions. Also, to all our listeners, we've tried something new with Teams. So bear with us in case it doesn't work. Uh, and as always, there are no right and wrong answers. It's just about what you feel. So let's have a look at the questions and let's introspect and start answering.
Yeah.
So the question will be posted in the chat box.
Yeah.
And I think we have the first one live there. Can you see it, everyone?
Yes. The first step to building wealth is.
Yes. So the options are on your screen and you can punch in your answer. This is like KBC, but here there are no right and wrong answers. I repeat, punch in your questions and let's have a look at the answers, what the audience has to say. I'm also going to punch my answer now. All right, so I've submitted and the result is recorded and the results are on your screen. Maximum number of people, 78% feel that managing what you already earn is the first step in building wealth. Okay, I hope this is getting interesting now. Let's have a
Yeah.
look at the next one.
Okay.
The next one is in the chat box. A good personal budget.
This
Uh,
is a difficult one. I want, can I select all?
no,
Please
you
give an
cannot select all.
option. Please give me an option to write also. I'll be like all of the above. Okay, a good personal budget balance is something. Guys, I'm leaking the answer.
You're not supposed to leak the answers. Well, there are no right and wrong answers actually. Just give me a second. I'm
Hmm.
not able to vote for this one. I think you guys have, you all know that I know the answers.
Yes, you can't be
And
cheating.
I'll just get somebody to help me on this. Just give me.
Okay. As always, as the trend goes in every meeting, in every webinar, in every seminar, in anything and everything related to tech, there has to be a tech issue. And I think we've encountered the first one for today. Moin, we can't see you and we can hear
Hi,
you. We can hear you.
I'm back.
Okay, great.
Yes, okay. So now I'm going to submit my answer, and only then will I be able to see what everybody has voted for. Sorry for the technical issue. And maximum number of people believe that needs, wants, and savings is what a good
You
personal
need.
budget actually balances. Okay, okay, interesting. Sailesh is right. A lot of knowledge is already out there. So good, very happy. Blue Bindi team is very happy with this. All
Yes,
right.
what is it?
Let's move on to the next one. What's the single biggest factor that helps your money grow over time? What do you think it is? I know everybody wants to hit that first option.
If only we could share that with our RAs.
All right. If you've attended our previous sessions, you all know the answer to this one. If you haven't, you'll get some knowledge today as well. And as expected, most of you believe that compounding is the single biggest factor that really helps grow your money over time. All right, let's. So, by the way, I didn't actually mention we have a total of 9 questions this time. So, nine
9 days
thumb
of
rules,
Navratri. Yeah.
9 days of Navratri, and 9 questions. So,
Bang
let's have a
on.
look at the next one. The next one is starting early in investing matters because, and the options are you can save less but still end up with more, you can take more risks, you have more time to learn, or either all of the above. What do you think? There is no 50-50, there is no phone a friend, and this is actually audience poll in a way.
I think that's something we need for next time, no? Call a friend or something.
Okay,
We need those lifelines also.
so what we'll do is we'll publish Sailesh's mobile number, so call an expert. All right, so I have punched in my answer. I hope everybody has done the same. Let's have a look at the answer. And everybody, 73% of the entire audience believes that the answer is all of the above. Okay, very nice, interesting. I don't see a lot of people. I don't see a lot of people. Matlab, I'm not seeing all of you guys voting actually. Just 22, 25 responses. I mean, what are the others? They're just waiting for the right answers, is it?
Mm.
There are no right and wrong answers. It's just what you believe. Start punching your answers and you'll introspect really well. All right, let's have a look at the next one. As you grow older, your investments should A, become safer, stay aggressive, C, depend only on income, and D, not change at all. No matter what your age, your investment should never change. Do you all believe that? Or do you think it should
It
become more aggressive?
depends. I want my answer to be it depends.
Okay.
No.
There is no option E. So you have to select between A, B, C, D. I am selecting mine and I have submitted. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, so 71% of the audience believes that as you grow older, your investments should become safer. Very nice. Very intelligent audience, I must say. Very interesting. And let's now have a look at the next question. What usually makes people run into money troubles even if they earn really well? Option A, not managing or growing their money consistently. B, not getting a big salary. C, not taking enough risks. Or D, not buying gold. Gold, which
Not
is
buying
better for
gold.
time. No.
Can't buy gold.
All right, let's have you guys answer. We'll take a couple of seconds. I'm punching my answer. I hope all of you guys are also punching your answers. I've hit submit. And the answer is unbelievable. 100% of you
100%.
guys believe that not managing or growing their money consistently is actually what usually makes people run into troubles, money troubles, actually. Very nice. So now that you know what you have to do with your money, ensure that you take a lot from these sessions and start managing money really, really well. All right. Having said that, we have the next question up on your screen. The biggest challenge in retirement is A, covering medical costs, B, ensuring money lasts as long as you live, C, avoiding risky investments, or D, supporting family expenses.
If only we all knew कब तक जीने वाले हैं, क्या है नहीं, then it would be so easy.
True that. Okay, let's give the audience some time to think. The biggest challenge in retirement. So let's say you're retiring 25 years from now. What do you think your biggest challenge would be at that time? Okay, let's now punch the answer. I am punching mine. I'm also confused now. Which one? Okay, I have selected one answer. I'm not too sure.
Can you
I'll-
also, you also don't have the access to
I
put
don't
that
have the
any
answers.
option?
No, no, there
Don't
are no
lie.
right and wrong answers. All right, so we have 53% of the audience which believes that ensuring money lasts as long as you live. Okay, interesting. Now, it all depends on when are you planning your retirement, but okay, I never said that. All right, let's move on to the next one. I think this is the second last question. The purpose of life insurance is mainly to A, grow your wealth, B, provide tax benefits, C, provide protection and financial security for your family, and D, beat inflation. What do you think? What do you think? Think. I'm punching my answer and I hit submit. Let's have a look at the others. Ooh.
There
Okay,
are
so
people selling life insurance and saying you can grow your wealth. Good.
okay. Please
Yes.
attend all our sessions
Yes.
religiously. The purpose of life insurance is mainly to 96% of you guys believe that provide protection and financial security for your family. Absolutely. I mean, it was very easy. All right, with that, we come to the last question of this session. What's the ultimate goal of managing money well? To have more than others, to retire early, to live life on your terms, to avoid all risks. What do you think is the
This one
ultimate
I
goal
want to
of?
say. I mean, if people are here for Blue Bindi session and what we are doing, helping them, guiding them to manage their finances better, so obviously we want to live life on our terms. So yeah.
Oh, so Ritika gave out the answer, is it?
Yes.
All right, let's see what the audience has to say. Okay, some still believe that ticket to retire early also could be one ultimate goal, so that retirement जीवन सुकून से बीते. बाकी तो दिन में बहुत stress है. And some also believe that ticket to avoid all kind of risk that can come their way. While 92%, most of our audience, did somebody change their answer? Okay, it says 92 and 90 here. Okay, some people I think are still confused. So most of you guys, majority of you guys believe that to live life on your terms is the ultimate goal of managing money well. Well, with that, we come to an end to this interesting session. I'll be back next time with more difficult questions.
Yeah.
Until then, stay tuned and do follow Blue Bindi on Instagram, and also have a great evening ahead and enjoy the session by our expert. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Moin. That was really thoughtful. And as you rightly said, earlier these interactions that you used to plan used to be very simple. Now you've made it a little difficult. But yes, as we've received the inputs from Sarish, so it's worth putting that extra thought. So thank you once again. Okay, now we move forward and let's have our trusted financial voice of Blue Bindi, Salish. Hi. Welcome,
Hi,
welcome once
hi
again.
Ritika. Warm welcome to
Happy,
all the participants. Happy Navratri
yes,
to all
happy
of you.
Navratri to you too. Hanji. So let's get started, sir. I already highlighted, spoke about, a lot of these rules, or in any way, these mantras individually we might be following. But in today's session, we would want you to, just break those down for us. And with that, I'm hopeful that towards the end of the session, all of us would know about these simple rules, mantras that we can follow in our day-to-day life and manage our finances and money way, way better. So over to you, Sally.
Thanks, Ritika. So now we kept this session title was the nine thumb rules, and every woman should know before investing. So these are very simple rules, and when we say thumb rules, there is a science behind the thumb rule. So basically, whenever we meet investors, they are they're looking for perfect answer. So just to give an example, how much insurance cover should I have?
Mm,
Okay, so there are scientific formulas to help you, arrive at the right amount. Okay, but is it necessary to do very complex calculations, or is there a simple way? So there is a
mm,
simple way, and there is a thumb rule. So we'll discuss that. Similarly, a lot of people now mention that the ultimate aim of life is, many of you said that you want to retire early. So how will you retire early? You should know that when you retire, how much money you should have.
mm.
And how do I know how much money should I have when I retire? So we
Retire.
talk about the
Yeah.
retirement corpus. So can I do a very quick back of the envelope calculation and say that this is the amount that I should have?
Mm,
Okay. So thumb rules are certain observations over a period of time which have been tested. So what do they, how do they help you? They simplify your decision making. So if you are
mm,
confused, if you
mm,
are, we call analysis paralysis. Okay, we are over
mm.
analyzing numbers, and you
Yes.
feel that there is, you're not arriving at a decision, then you can use a thumb rule, and you can, the thumb rules basically are 90% of the right. So time of, they are right.
Mm,
So whatever number you will arrive through a scientific calculation will be way, only there will be 5-10% deviation from the thumb rule. So that is how, easy it is to use thumb rules. Uh, it also helps you to put certain things into action. So because you don't know the answer. So if I say that if I want to retire after 10 years, then how much copper should I have? If I sit down with an Excel sheet and all,
mm,
it may take
mm,
some time, and I may not arrive
mm,
at a concrete actionable. So using the
mm,
thumb rule, I can do that within few seconds.
mm.
Okay.
The way you were saying,
And
sell it mota mati, you get an idea. So
exactly. In
you.
Hindi, we use the word mota mati, and that's the language that we use in our conversation. Mota
Mm,
mota ya mota mati is the term that we use, and that is in English, it is the rule of thumb or the thumb rule.
mm,
Okay. And they leverage cognitive ease. When we say cognitive ease, it's a jargon, but it basically means that you're not taxing your brain. आप
mm,
दिमाग को जोर नहीं दे रहे हो, आप
mm,
रिलैक्स्ड वे में एक मोबाइल पे कैलकुलेटर लेके या पेन पेपर लेके आप एक नंबर पे अपना कैलकुलेशन कर सकते हो. दैट्स द ईज दैट वी आर टॉकिंग
mm,
ऑफ विथ यूजिंग द thumb rule. So you don't need
mm.
complex calculations. So that is how thumb rules work. Okay, so that's the beauty. Again, it is not a perfect science, but the numbers have been, when we look at the calculations through a scientific calculation as well as using the thumb rules, like I said,
Mm,
you
mm,
will not find much deviation. Okay, but should you only rely on thumb rule? No, you can always go beyond the thumb rule also.
mm,
So let me start with the nine thumb rules, and these are for every calculation that you need to know. So, the very important question very often people ask when we do investing and they say, मेरा पैसा कितना जल्दी double होगा? Okay. I think today we live in a fast world, Ritika, and people are not looking at doubling, but we use multi-bagger stocks and those kind of terms. So people are not happy only doubling,
To
maybe
double it. Yeah.
tripling or quadrupling. There is no limit. Okay,
Correct.
but how fast will your money double? We have a rule of 72. Then there's a rule of 70 inflation, which is about inflation. So we all know that the inflation eats into your purchasing power. So how much does it eat into your purchasing power? How fast can your purchasing power deplete is the rule of 70. Then we have the 4% withdrawal rule. Everybody who's looking for retirement calculation. Okay, now sitting here, you will know that how much corpus you need. Okay, so that is the 4% withdrawal rule we are talking about. Fourth rule is about asset allocation, a very important term and important aspect of investing. जब हम बोलते हैं कि don't put all your eggs in one basket, we apply this 100 minus the age rule. Okay, then return expectation is 10-5-3. Very often people ask how much should I expect from equity? How much should I expect from fixed income? How much should I expect from savings or maybe from gold? So that is a 10-5-3 rule. Then 50-30-20 is the rule about need, wants, and savings. And they are self-explanatory, but I will go to each of these rules. Emergency rule is the 6x. 40% rule is about EMI to income, and 20x rule is the life insurance cover. So they are very self-explanatory, but let me just delve into the your rule of 72. So you take 72 and divide it by the rate of return. So if you have a fixed deposit running at 7%, 72 divided by 7 will be 8. So if you keep your money into a fixed deposit, which is earning you say 7%, then your money will double in 8 years. So अगर आपने 1 लाख रुपया लगाया है और आपको जानना है कि वो 2 लाख कितने समय में हो जाएगा, तो आप उसका रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट से डिवाइड कीजिए 72 and you will get the years in which the money will double. Okay, we don't have the thumb rule for multiplying your money beyond that. But I
And that's
think
what I
we
was
will.
gonna ask you. The way you said कि आजकल लोगों को डबल नहीं करना और अच्छा खासा मल्टीप्लाई करना तो वो नहीं है. But I think ठीक है. Let's go ahead. At least look for options that can give you better interest rate. I mean, obviously as per your risk profile. But yes, at least you would know कि whatever amount you're putting in, when will that get doubled. Interesting.
Correct. And that rule of 72 is important because if I say 72 and I say divided by 12%, which is the return that we normally expect from equity, then 72 divided by 12 is 6 years.
6 years. So you
Okay, so
need
within
to be
6 years, I
invested.
can double my money. So that is how the power of equity also works. Coming to the rule of 70, we just mentioned that about the purchasing power of money, and every day when we when it passes by, it reduces your purchasing power. So the value of 100 rupees today and tomorrow will change. So tomorrow's 100 will be far less in value. Okay, so that is because you have the factor called inflation. So it robs you of your purchasing power. So if you divide 70 by the inflation rate, okay, so if the inflation rate is 7%, it means your purchasing power will reduce by half in 10 years.
Oh.
Okay, so what you can buy or the value of 100 rupees after 10 years will be 50. Okay, so this is for if you are doing any future investment, typically something like a cash flow plan for insurance and all, then you need to apply that what you will get. So sometimes you know that I will get X amount after so many years. So what will be the value of that? You can apply this rule of 70. So it's a very important thumb rule.
Yeah, because people might think you might calculate after so many years, I'm going to get a good lump sum. But if you actually go deeper and understand, your value of that money has actually gone down. So accordingly
Correct.
calculate and take right decisions. Okay.
Correct. So anybody's salary is 10 lakh rupees today and 10, salary after 10 lakh after 5 years will be much
Hmm.
less because, we have
Hmm.
the element of inflation there. So the
Inflation.
value of 10 lakh will be far less after 5 years. That is how it is. Now coming to the 4% rule. So this is an interesting one. So if somebody says, how much will I need for retirement? Okay.
Hmm.
So say someone is expecting that their monthly expenses at retirement.
Hmm.
Say someone is 50 years old
Hmm.
and is going to retire at 60 and his current expenses he knows, and if he can know the future expense. So
Hmm.
I may be saying that I spend 8 lakh rupees every year on my household expenditure. I will uh, spend around 10 lakhs. Okay. So how much after 10 years if I retire, then 25 into 10 lakhs, 2.5 crores should be my retirement corpus. Okay. That is the
Hmm.
number that you will arrive at. Okay. Again, if you are expecting that your total expenses after at retirement will be 20 lakhs, then you will need a 5 crore corpus. Okay. Now this is the mota mati number. Okay. If I have to use the term. So because a lot of people ask me in various webinars, and also people ask me, अरे retirement के लिए कितना save करना चाहिए? So this is
Hmm.
a formula I give them.
Hmm.
And this rule also says that if you withdraw, 4% every year, maybe, the 4% of the corpus that you have.
Hmm.
Okay. So in this case, we have used, if you are for example, after 25 years, you're going to spend 5 lakh rupees. So you'll need a
Hmm.
corpus of 1.25 crores.
Hmm.
Okay. And then that you will go and put it into equity and debt, and you withdraw 4% every year. 4%
Hmm.
of 1.25 crore is 5 lakh rupees. Okay.
Hmm.
So this is the thumb rule for knowing what is your retirement corpus. Now there's a catch over here that obviously you also have to build in the inflation after retirement. Okay.
Yeah.
So thumb rule doesn't look into it, only takes the inflation up to your retirement. So if you're 30-year-old and you say that I will retire at 50, then after
Hmm.
20 years, how much are you going to spend? You are going to inflate to
Hmm.
arrive at what it is. And then you multiply by 25.
Hmm.
So then the post retirement also inflation होगा ना, वो नहीं calculate करता है thumb rule. But at least you know that a ballpark number
Mota
कि
mati.
मुझे कितना लगेगा मोटा माटी. ठीक है? It will be slightly higher only. But
Hmm.
if you withdraw 4% every year, then
Hmm.
this rule works 96% of the time for the 30-year period. So if you're retiring at 60 till 90 is what it should work. Okay.
So, Sailesh, just to add in here, as you were talking about this one and the earlier one, inflation one. So, even as an individual, you should make sure that you're trying to understand all of these rules and try and see if you can, maybe not club them, but if they can work together to give you a better picture. Correct?
Exactly.
Can that be of help?
Exactly. It will be that way. So all these can be clubbed together depending upon what exercise you're doing, whether if you're doing a retirement corpus calculation, then this rule will apply. If you
Hmm.
want to know, uh, how much money should you save, then there's a
Hmm.
thumb rule that is coming up now. So I'll
Hmm.
show you that.
Okay.
Okay, because for even for creating this corpus, you will need the savings. So how much should you
Correct.
save is
Correct.
something there. So we'll come. I'll in the subsequent slides we have that also.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we go to the next rule? Now this is an interesting one. This is assuming you know how much you need to save. So
Hmm.
suppose you got a bonus of 5 lakh rupees and you want to invest that bonus.
Hmm.
Okay. So we say that divide your money among equity, debt, and gold. So you'll say
Correct.
how much in equity, how much in debt, and how much or debt or fixed income and
Hmm.
gold.
Hmm.
So 100 minus your age is a very well-known, popular uh, asset allocation rule. We
Hmm.
say that should be invested into equity. So 100 minus your age. So if you're 35 years old, then 65 rupees should go into equity. If
Yeah.
you're 40-year-old, then 60 rupees should go into equity. 10% is normally we say keep into gold, and the
Okay.
remaining can go into fixed income. When I say fixed income, it can be NCDs, bonds, corporate fixed deposits, anything in the fixed income category.
Hmm.
Okay. Over here, we mentioned we're not taking gold into consideration, but we always suggest 10% allocation to gold as well. And gold has also done well in the last few years. Okay. So gold is also an important part of the portfolio that you will build. Now, the logic is very simple. Why this rule? Because, like I said, if you are 30-year-old, you will put 70% into equity. If you're 40-year-old, then you'll put 60%. The
Hmm.
logic is that as you grow old, you should invest in less riskier assets like equity. And that
Hmm.
is why you should keep on reducing your allocation to equity as you move towards retirement. And you should
Hmm.
increase your allocation to fixed income when you are growing old.
Okay. And gold, obviously, gold is shining
Obviously,
bright.
gold, yeah,
So
it's
hey,
shining. I'm sure all of you looking forward to the Dhanteras. That's the time
yeah.
when everybody will buy gold. But it's
Hmm.
already at 1,10,000.
I think people might shift towards silver this year, no? What do you think?
Exactly. Yeah, even silver has done well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now we have another rule, the 10-5-3 rule. So how much should you expect from equity? दिल मांगे मोर तो हमेशा होता है.
Hmm.
Again, in equity, we always have a logic also, but
Hmm.
the way we expect and we tell a lot of our investors that how much should you expect from equity? We say 12% over here. Of course, we're saying adjusted for ups and downs. We're saying 10%. This is a very conservative number,
Hmm.
but 12% is what the Indian economy is growing, meaning the GDP number, the nominal
Hmm.
GDP. It's a little jargon, but this is how India is growing. So your
Hmm.
portfolio ideally should grow at 12% when it is equity, but
Hmm.
you can take a conservative number of 10%.
Hmm.
5% is from fixed income. India has a long-term inflation of 6%.
Hmm.
So if somebody is giving, so post-tax, if you get 5%,
Hmm.
then you should be happy because fixed income rates are going down. So your bank FDs are fetching you 7%. You will pay tax on that. Okay. And that reminds me that the new tax regime has become not
Okay, again, we lost.
more fair. That's what people have come back and said. Okay. Uh, 3% is from savings account. So most of the banks don't pay you more than 2.5% in savings. So
Sorry to interrupt you. I think just switch off and switch on your camera once you're stuck.
yes, Ritika, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't see your screen moving. I can hear you now.
Shailesh, you can go ahead,
Okay, you
please.
can hear. I think
Yeah, yeah,
Ritika
I
is
can. Yeah,
okay.
Ritika has freeze actually, Ritika's system. So please, you can go ahead.
Okay. We'll continue. So 2.5% is what most of the banks, private sector banks, are paying us in savings account. So again, this rule is very important for all of you because very often you will be conversing with your investment advisor about investment expectation, and it is very important to have a expectation, and you should know that this is what number can be expected because somebody can promise you a very high number and you can challenge that or maybe get a confirmation. So if somebody says that this particular investment can get you 20% return, then perhaps you need to know that 20% can be little off or maybe little you need to probe further. But 12% is something that we have the average return that is there for the last 25 years. For fixed income, you're like I said, if you adjust for tax, 7% minus maybe 20% tax, it will be 5%. Coming to the next rule, this is very interesting. This is very important, and this rule tells you how much should you spend and how much should you save. Okay, so we have the 50-30-20 rule, which is very popular again. So it says, and it goes, it is based on day-to-day observation that more or less people will spend 50% of their income on groceries and the day-to-day living. So this is known as the household expenses. Then 30% will be on lifestyle expenses or the discretionary spend, we said, something that you can manage or you can reduce. Your grocery and you don't want to compromise that, but the discretionary spending, that is why the term is also discretionary, means it's in your hand whether you want to increase it or decrease it. And the remaining 20% is savings. Okay, so that goes into, say, your SIPs, your fixed deposits, buying your gold ETFs. Now, I have to clarify over here that 20% savings is bare minimum that you need to do. Okay, if you ask anyone and you do your back of the envelope calculations, 20% is something that you will see, or maybe someone who is a little more disciplined will be at 25%. But very often we find that when we do planning, we find that you need to have at least 30% savings to meet most of your important goals in life. Not all, but it should be at least 30%. So I'm saying that discretionary spend that 30% over there, entertainment. So this is when you sit down and you want to analyze and you create a laundry list of your expenses and you divide it, see that you have 50% in groceries, and if you are meeting 30% in discretionary spending like entertainment and vacations and all, then it leaves at least 20% for savings. That's the starting point. That is where it should be. And if you can better this ratio, nothing like it. Like you need to really have a slightly higher savings. Thumb rule being thumb rule, my advice is that 20% is very less. It should be on the higher side.
My question here, sorry, I'll
Yeah,
interrupt,
Ritika.
but because we keep talking about savings is different from investing. Okay,
Right.
so if you had to sort of change this rule for our audience, then how would you say that, okay, some amount obviously savings, and you would create like a liquid emergency fund sorts, but there has to be an allocation that in a way you have to multiply and grow your money as well, because of the earlier rules that we saw, right? Inflation hai, in so many years aapka amount kam ho jata hai. So if I want to ask you here, how can we tweak this for our audience a little, though this is a thumb rule obviously, but if you would want to include investing also in here, so how would you do that?
So savings over here is basically your investing. So when I say savings, is the money that is left behind in your bank account. So if you have, say, a salary of 1 lakh rupees, then 50,000 goes into buying your groceries. 30,000 maybe you keep aside, or you accumulate and you want to go and spend on entertainment, shopping, and all those things. And the remaining 20,000 rupees that is left maybe channelized into an SIP or something. But like I said, that money will be less. Okay. So when it goes into a mutual fund, it becomes an investment. As long as it is lying in the bank account, it is a saving. Okay. So if you want to better this, then I think the 30% gives you some leeway. You can reduce that 30% to, say, 20% and increase that 20% in savings to 30% to start with. Okay. So if you, like I said, the 50% could be more of the grocery and maybe non-compromisable. The 30% to 20% can be tweaked.
Adjustable. Okay, great. Take.
Yeah, coming to the emergency rule, this is again part of the risk management in financial planning. When we do risk management, we talk of three points. One is the contingency fund, and the 6X is the emergency fund. Second is your health insurance, and third is your life insurance. And in terms of importance also, we give first priority to the contingency fund, to the second is the health insurance, and the third is your life insurance. So if you don't have any of these risk management measures in place, then start with an emergency rule. Now, a lot of people will come and ask me that what should be my emergency fund? Okay, so 6x of your monthly income, okay, should be into your bank account or a liquid fund. So say you are earning 50,000 rupees a month, then 6x means 3 lakh rupees should be straight away kept aside into a separate bank account or a liquid fund, which is not easily accessible in that sense. Maybe if you are spending too much on, say, Diwali shopping and all, that money is not available to you. Forget it. Okay. So you are building this through a SIP, because a lot of people who are stepping into financial planning for the first time, they're starting this exercise for the first time, they might find it overwhelming. So we are not saying that build it on day one, but have this as the priority to execute. So build this over a period of time. Now, many people come and ask me that both husband and wife are working, both are contributing equally to the family income. Then can they have, both of them can contribute? Then we say, okay, you can have 3 months. Okay. Now the logic of this emergency rule is that suppose you need this money in emergency, or somebody is sick, you're temporarily disabled, can't go to office or on leave for because not well, or somebody loses a job, then you have that 6 months window, okay, to at least, but you're not worried about your finances. Okay, that's the logic of having the emergency fund. So we can go to the next rule. Okay, the EMI rule. This is very important. Again, 40% is the EMI rule we are saying. So if you're earning, say, 50,000 rupees and you want to buy something on EMI, maybe a property on an EMI, then 20,000 is the maximum money you should have in EMIs. And an EMI doesn't mean that you'll have 40% EMI for housing and 40% EMI for car. This is the total EMI you'll have. Okay. So we have come across people who are very heavy on EMIs, compromise, because that leaves you with less savings. Okay. And that savings, if it is less, it will you will compromise on your important goals. Important goals means your retirement goals, your kids' education, your kids' marriage goals. So we don't want to compromise on that. So it's a balancing act. Of course, everybody, if you're living in a rented apartment, instead of paying rent, you may want to buy an apartment and you want to do it through an EMI. But when you doing that, see that you're not, your budget is not overstretched. Now, maybe a lot of people come and tell me also that, oh, I have, located this property and this my dream flat and something like that. And, if I don't have this, I will stretch myself, I will pay extra, I will cut down on my expenses. Not, you have to be really very judicious. If you're doing anything of that sort, understand that you'll be doing this for the next 15, 20 years. And you don't want to compromise on your other goals. So it's a very critical decision.
And I think more than that, आजकल के time पे Sailesh, it is not just आगे की family. There are other goals that people want to like meet, like going for the next destination, holiday, and you under that peer pressure. So even for that, I think a lot of credit card companies are making good money there. But yes, again, that doesn't mean obviously if all this is available, one should avail. But again, be very mindful and be very careful.
Yes, even as we speak, there are a lot of apps. We am seeing where there are a lot of shopping festival is on.
Yeah.
And if you are genuinely in need of to buy something, please go ahead and do it. This could be a good time because you can get a good bargain. But the point is that if you fall for something zero interest and all those, believe me, there are hidden charges. And the EMIs, it means on the face of it, you may say, हाँ, लग तो नहीं रहा इतना है, लेकिन all the processing fee and everything you have paid, you will realize that you are paying, there is a price. So there is nothing like a free lunch in this world. Nobody is doing a favor. Okay. So please don't fall for all the baits. If somebody is saying that buy now, pay later. Okay. So, एक के साथ एक free. So कोई एक के साथ एक free नहीं दे रहा है. There is obviously someone who's offering you has done his math. Nobody is doing charity in this world. So you have to be very, very careful. Okay. I see that very often when it comes to credit card bill payment, there is an option converted into a EMI.
EMI.
Okay. Now, if you're seriously stretched because you didn't manage your finances well, you may very selectively use it. It's a convenience. But if you fall into a habit that chalo,
Then
you
it's
know,
a loop.
then you fall into a trap, and believe me, nobody can pull you out. Debt traps are very, very tricky. So don't even go there. Okay. So this is a very important rule. And whenever you're doing any calculation, see. So when if you're doing something of this sort, uh, you will have to see uh, 50% goes into grocery. If I have 1 lakh rupees, okay, 50% is going into grocery. I'm left with 50,000. Okay, then if I put 40% rule of EMI, then my 90% is gone. I'm only left with 10% for all my discretionary spending and savings. So even this thumb rule is, the higher outer limit. Maybe it can come down to 30%. Okay, that is how it is.
I think
Okay,
this we spoke in our insurance specific session also, but yeah, you can quickly touch upon this one.
yeah, the 20x life insurance rule. This is the number that we normally look at it. There is a human life value calculation, and that's a more scientific way of approaching how much insurance cover you should have. That is used mainly by the insurance companies. But even if you apply this 20x cover or maybe 15x cover, you will know that this is the amount that you need to have as far as insurance is concerned. Now, there is no thumb rule for medical insurance, but like I always mention, some thumb rules are there, but they may not be very scientific. They said that if your 50% of your income should be your health insurance cover. So if you are having a package of 20 lakh rupees, that means you need to have a 10 lakh insurance health insurance cover. But again, diseases don't look at the salary package and come. So somebody with a 5 lakh package can also get a very serious disease, and there the insurance companies can be very, very cover could be very less. So I'm saying that maybe to start with a 5 lakh cover, and today you have better policies which can double your cover in 2 years with a no claim bonus and all that can become 10 lakhs. But always pay attention to your contingency fund, life insurance cover, and your health insurance cover. Okay. So those were the 9 thumb rules that we had for you. And I hope it was easy. I explained it very well for people to use it. But it covers your entire exercise. Anything on the personal finance, whether it is related to loan, whether it is related to savings, emergency fund, life insurance, inflation, retirement corpus, everything gets covered in these 9 thumb rules.
No, very important ones. And I think, Vice, you explained it very simply. And I think all of us, in some way or the other, as I was talking earlier also, would be following, because we've seen that happen in our houses earlier, but we didn't have, that, okay, oh, this is that thumb rule, but we were maybe in a way, in some or the other way following those. So, thank you, Sailesh, for these powerful and simplified version of these rules. So we will quickly jump into our Q&A. Anybody who's got questions, you can drop in the chat box, and we can get our expert to answer. Anything apart from how to increase your salary, double your income, वो सब तो बता दिया. उतना calculation अभी सब खुद ही कर लो. But anything else that you would want to know, would want to get some more clarity on, so you can quickly drop in your questions. Anything, Sailesh, you want to add? Okay, we have somebody. Please explain tax harvesting as well, and which is better for beginners, mutual fund, FDs, or stocks?
For beginners, mutual funds are the best. I think even those who are seasoned investors, they can look at mutual funds as a portfolio. But stocks is also good if you know the rules, how to pick up stocks. And of course, you need time. You need time to study stocks, companies, track their performance and all. Now, if you're working and you're not from the field of finance, then you might struggle. And that is why we say that, mutual fund sahi hai. So continue with your SIPs. I can only tell you that these thumb rules are thumb rules. Okay. They can help you with your calculations, but, investing is not only restricted to thumb rules. There is the behavioral aspect that comes into picture. That is your discipline, commitment, and patience. Okay. That cannot be replaced. Those are your attitude, that is a behavioral part, and you will have to develop those attitude to be successful investor.
True, true that. So I hope that helps, Shraddha. You can start your, I hope you already have, but yes, you can either start your SIPs or you can increase the amount there. Suppose okay, we have somebody else asking. So suppose I want to buy a car. Yes, good time to buy. I think abhi car ke prices bhi kam hue hai. And if I have the savings for it, so should I give all that payment? I'm assuming this is what you wants to say. Should I go and buy and put in all the money, or is it good to take on EMI on loan?
So one is definitely, you have, you're well in time. You have the GST reductions coming in. So hopefully the car that you are looking for will, cost you less.
Yeah.
Now, should you go spend your money in the bank, or should you, approach the bank? Since the car is a depreciating asset, we don't really suggest buying depreciating asset with a loan, because the value of the car will keep going down and your EMIs will continue to be constant. Okay. So if you have saved money specifically for car, then without any hesitation, please go and book your car today. And if you really saved it for the car, kudos to you. All many congratulations, and wish you happy driving.
No, yeah. So this is something on my personal this thing also. I think I had discussed it with Sailesh, and I remember these were the same words that he had used. Ki, okay, it's a depreciating asset, so you need to be very mindful of, and make sure if you've saved, तो ये नहीं कि भाई इतना सेव किया तो थोड़ा और लोन लेके बेटर टॉप एंड ले लेते हैं, ये ले लेते हैं, तो बी थोड़ा mindful of because it's not, I mean, you could either invest and do other things, and obviously A to B point पे दोनों अलग अलग गाड़ियां भी आपको वहीं लेके जाएंगी, right? So but again, I don't, I mean, everybody has that aspiration to have a better brand, but yes, be mindful. Okay, next one. How can I continue investing if I take a career break or have irregular income?
How can I continue investing? So see, ultimately it will depend upon whether you have any cash flow. Okay, so if you're not working, then maybe you don't have a salary, and you may not be able to continue with the SIPs. But one thing I would want to add over here is that even if you are on a break, and you should continue to review your portfolio, should continue to look at your asset allocation. It will be more important, because in that period, till the time you're on break, your risk taking ability is on the lower side. Once your earning comes back, your earning capacity comes back, then you can start taking more risk with your money. But yes, you will have to pause your investment if you're taking. It's a short break, maybe, but again, if SIPs are your only investment and it is being channelized through, say, salary, then perhaps that will have to wait.
So it's always better, as you mentioned earlier, also to pause them than to completely stop them.
Correct.
Once you are, once you have that income coming in, you can obviously start that again. And if irregular payments, then I think you should go for lump sum option, right? Because that was also your thing, that if it is irregular, so whenever you have that lump, some amount to invest, go for the lump sum option. Okay, quickly, I'll take last 2-3 questions, Alish. Is there a simple way to balance between saving, spending, and investing?
saving, spending, and investing. Yes. So reverse the order. Investing
invest.
comes first. Saving. Okay. So spending comes last. Okay.
Hmm.
So first save enough, then invest, and then spend. That is the only mantra. And again, it's a tendency. You'll have to really, really work on it.
Yes, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough with the festive season around, the amazing sales that are there. I'm pretty sure. And your cards, your all the app में जो आपके सारे cards होंगे आपको बुला रहे होंगे. But you have to be firm and you cannot follow
So
play to
what
them.
I want to add here, no, for all of us, including you and me,
Hmm.
here we have the rate cut, the GST rate cut. So there is going to be more savings definitely,
Yes, yes.
and there is the tax rates also reduced for a lot of people. So
Yes.
you'll have double savings for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that doesn't mean that you go and spend
A lot.
extra. Maybe someone who is really struggling with their finances or have extra EMIs, they want to, increase their EMIs and reduce their burden. So
Hmm.
they can use it more judiciously.
Yeah. Yeah. So extra money, compare करो आज जो हमने सब सिखाया है, calculate with the rules and then make the most of it. At the same time, as you know, while you were talking, I was thinking it's festive season. We don't want people not to spend, not to have fun, not
Absolutely.
to enjoy. So yes, do that mindfully. So yeah, it will be a win-win for all of us. Okay. Should I focus on paying off debt first and then starting to invest?
So, if the debt is going to take away a lot of time, if you are going to take, I mean, if you going to, if you are going to repay your debt first and it's going to be, say, 4 or 5 years from now, then you will also lose out on the compounding because you will delay your equity. So
Hmm.
I normally suggest that to the extent possible, balance it. You continue with your SIPs and also continue repaying your debt.
Hmm.
So if you say, suppose you have 100 rupees to invest in SIP, maybe you want to do 60 rupees and then 40 rupees you want to prepay your debt.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're balancing both because I've very often seen people delay their investment and then the power of compounding doesn't help. So
Yeah.
that delay also has to be avoided. It's
Hmm.
a balancing act.
Okay. So this one is interesting. The rule says EMIs shouldn't be more than 40% of your income. But in cities like Mumbai, home loans, it easily crosses that amount. It is expensive and all that. So how do you manage? How do you plan that then? How do you do that?
So I know that is why I said if you're buying your dream home and you're going to stretch yourself, you'll find the EMIs on the higher side. Now, I understand that there are aspirations. People don't want to wait. So I tell
Hmm.
people that, okay, start with a smaller flat in Mumbai and, maybe go on to a larger apartment after a few years. Now, that's the
Hmm.
most logical way, the practical way of dealing with this. Rather
Hmm.
than buying something very expensive, stretching your cash flows, and compromising on your investment goals. So what I'm trying to say here is that you could, if possible, don't compromise on your important goals like your children's education or your retirement. Start with a small apartment, graduate to a bigger one over a period of time. That way,
Hmm.
you will not feel immediately. You might feel a little upset, disappointed that certain
Hmm.
things that you thought was going to be fulfilled, you'll have to postpone in a bit, but let it be. I think in the interest of your other goals, we
Hmm.
need to settle for a small apartment.
I agree. And this goes with my personal experience again, that when back I had taken my home loan initially, when started with the EMIs, oh, those couple of months, you would try to avoid any outing, you would cut down on all of those extra expenses. But today when I look back, I'm like, no, that was a good decision I did. Again, in retrospect, obviously you feel that, but yes, it is also important that you learn from others experiences, and that's how you plan your financial planning journey. So yeah. Okay, I'll take the last one, Salish. For tax saving purposes, I invest 5% each in VPF, PF, and NPS. though we can't withdraw it for the next 15 years, can this be considered as a saving?
Absolutely. Your voluntary provident fund, your EPF, PPF, uh, NPS are all savings, and these are your investments. Okay, the moment it leaves your bank account and goes into some instrument, it becomes an investment. So it is good that you are doing that, and the lock-in is there for a purpose. The name Provident itself says that it's for your old age. Okay, India doesn't have a social security measures as of now. So this is the only way you can build your retirement corpus. Okay, but yes, this may not be sufficient. Again, do your thumb rule check and see whether it is more, your savings are more than 30% or not. If it is less than 20%, definitely you need to really, really work on your discretionary spending to cut that and increase the savings.
Okay, so that was the last question for the day. Okay, so thank you, Sailesh, once again for simplifying the rules and answering to these questions. And to our audience, if there's anything more you want to know, you can put in your questions, and offline we will connect and we will get you connected with our expert. So thank you everyone for joining in today. So remember, as Sailesh said, investing is all about discipline. Okay, you have to bring that discipline, consistency, and clarity in your life. So it's not about those trends that are happening. You have to be disciplined. You have to stick to your plan, right? And as you all will be enjoying Garba throughout this 9 days, let's make sure that your money is also moving in the right rhythm, steady, balanced, and joyful. So until next time, it's your money, your life, and rules. And before we sign off, I just wanted to add, I'm assuming most of y'all are following us on our Instagram page. Please, if not, we will drop in the link of the page. Please do follow. We're running a interesting contest for this Navratri period. So do participate and do win from there. So thank you. Thank you once again. Have a lovely evening and enjoy. Bye-bye.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.